All right, DJ, Ashton, this is our first ever podcast where we've had two different markets represented at the same time. Thank you for being here.
All right.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
boys.
you guys are repping the Yard Gym today, and the Yard Gym is a franchise, but it's a young franchise, specifically in the United States. I want to say it started in Australia.
It started in Australia in 2020.
And they opened up over 200 of these things in Australia.
Yeah, I don't know if we've hit quite 200. So about 5-6 years ago originated, and the origin story is incredibly fascinating. During COVID, Dan Bova, our CEO, our founder, was having all of his friends over to train, and DJ, jump in if I'm misremembering the founding story here, but they would train since all the gyms were closed down, and Dan was a trainer at F45 for years and owned multiple studios, and I think they would, they trained at his parents' house in the backyard or wherever, and as folks would come over for sessions, they would pitch in, and to buy more equipment and more pieces, and that's really where the Yard started, and that's where the kind of the community began. And in the last 5 or 6 years, I think there's been upwards of 400 territories sold globally, and about 100 active sites globally.
Yeah, I think on the Southern Hemisphere, there's close to 100 sites right now. And then United States, they've sold roughly, how many territories is it now?
I thought globally it was around 400 globally.
That's what I've read, is it was over 200 have already been sold.
Yeah.
They're due to be open, if you will.
Incredible. I don't even think Dan, I think Dan would tell you, I don't think anybody could have expected this amount of this reaction and how impactful it's been in every market.
Well, we're not in the fitness space. We're definitely not. What's the word I'm looking for here? We're definitely not strangers to group fitness. Okay, and so what I really want to do is break down the Yard Gym, strip it down as best as we possibly can, so that our listeners can really discern between the different concepts that are out there and what makes you guys unique, because you guys have some really fun, unique facets of the gym. But I want to start with just the build outs, because the build outs are beautiful. They're so aesthetically cool. Who came up with that?
Yeah, so Dan Bova, as he was mentioning, the founder, his wife's name is Tiarn, and she has a design background, and she's really been the mind behind the aesthetic of the Yard Gym. That's what drew me in from the start, and I'm sure Ashton probably the same. It really does set the Yard apart, aside from the training itself. It's just the overall aesthetic. So she is kind of the mastermind behind the branding and the aesthetic itself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's the first thing that you notice on any, piece of outreach that we have, is just that ambiance, that aura, that environment. And so
it definitely feels elevated.
Yeah.
It feels elevated, but also maintains a tough, kind of rugged atmosphere, maybe industrial vibes, if you will.
Yeah. Yeah.
But still feels elevated, which I think is just very tough to do. You know what I'm saying?
I think TYG, it's there's a little bit of grit to it. When we talk about our programming too, it's it is tough, it is challenging. But I think when you get this group of people together in the right environment, it kind of primes you to want to go hard, to push yourself, to see really what you're capable of, and that's really, I think, what builds the greatest bonds, amongst our community.
Doing tough stuff together, some collective suffering, if
Absolutely.
you will.
Yeah.
Totally.
You guys have shopped other franchises and stuff too, or were you guys just always thinking the Yard Gym was going to be the thing?
I've looked all over. So
yeah.
Kind of walk us through, because dude, this is such a fun podcast for me, because there's no shortage of franchise concepts for fitness, and it can be so cyclical, right? We were talking about 2020, what Dan was doing, and it's the world was on Peloton. Mm-hmm. Peloton stock, I remember, was just going bananas during this time, and they've fallen off a cliff as far as Pelotons. There's nothing more found on a Facebook marketplace right now than a Peloton bike.
You can get one for $300.
Yeah. Which, at times they were so short on it, but hey, they made their money. They're doing great. And honestly, the programming's great for Peloton. They do a good job. If you've ever ridden a Peloton, I have. It's great.
Yeah, totally.
But it's so cyclical. And so, what I want to really divulge is what is it about the Yard Gym that makes it unique? And you guys have some really fun stuff. I know rig and turf, and I want to break all that down. But let's talk about the shopping of the franchises and what else you guys entertained and what made you guys settle in on Yard Gym.
Yeah, I mean,
let's tell yours first.
Absolutely. Just how I found out about the Yard, what kind of set it apart in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so my background, I started working with First Form in, I don't know exactly what the year was. I think it was 2021. I was 20 years old. I was an interned here over the summer, ended up having the opportunity to shadow under Will Grumke, who's been an incredible mentor in my life and role model in the fitness industry. So after college, I worked here for an additional 3 years. So I was with the company from roughly 20 to 24, coming from a family with a lot of entrepreneurs and people who have started businesses and owned businesses. I knew that eventually I wanted to get there. And First Form really taught me a lot about helping people and kind of ingrained that passion in me. So I knew I wanted to help people. And I also knew that I wanted to own my own business. So when I left First Form, I really had no idea what I was going to do. I knew I wanted to be in the fitness industry because I saw the direct impact that you can make on people's lives. And so that summer that I left, which was actually last July, I spent the next 4 months basically just showing up to Lifetime every day in their office lounge area and just writing stuff down and just working on different plans and trying to figure out what this next step is going to look like. And it was a really challenging period of my life because I knew I had to leave. I knew I had to leave this place that I loved, and it was for me to do my own thing, and I just didn't know what that thing was. So I developed kind of a plan on my own gym, which actually had a ton in common with the Yard. It was, like you said earlier, group fitness isn't a new thing. And my girlfriend was a coach at F45 at the time, and I went to take a class, and F45 is an incredible place, awesome gym. Obviously, they have locations everywhere and have done a great job. For me, being kind of a hybrid type athlete and somebody who's really serious into fitness and wanting to get to that next level, I knew that there was something to this that was awesome, but there could have been something more. So I started developing my own plan. I was fortunate enough to meet with Bedros Keuilian, if you know him, out in LA, and kind of pitch him what I was thinking about at the time and just presented this entire deck to him. He has obviously a ton of experience within group fitness. And funny enough, he thought that I had copied the Yard because of how similar the idea was. And I was in LA at the time. I just went right down to the Yard thereafter, was able to get a workout in, and was automatically sold on the concept.
Had you heard of the Yard before Bedros brought it up?
I had not heard of the Yard.
Yeah.
What site was that?
That was LA, West Hollywood.
It was WeHo.
Yeah, it was the WeHo site, which is actually the corporate headquarters in the United States, which is a crazy turn of events. After that, I talked to...
Man, what is it about West Hollywood, dude? They get everything first.
Your timeline's fast.
Yeah.
You found it and took aim and went after it.
Yeah, like I said, when I walked in, met the community, did a workout, it was just something clicked in my brain. I knew I had to drop everything and go for that. They had the systems in place, and it was everything that I wanted in a gym, and I knew St. Louis could really benefit from having a gym like it. So, yeah, just kind of threw everything else out the window, went for it.
So you hadn't actually, had you looked at any other franchise models out there as a consideration?
I had. I had talked to multiple other fitness franchises.
Are you cool with naming any of those off?
Yeah, they were all great. I looked into Orange Theories. I talked to F45. I talked to Fit Body Boot Camp, which is how I kind of met Bedros. And yeah, they were all awesome. None of them were what I was looking for entirely. They all had bits and pieces of what I was looking for, but the Yard really encompassed that full circle of just everything I was looking for. So it was kind of a no-brainer when I walked in there, never of hearing about it. And yeah.
That's cool, man. Well, we got, you got F45, you've got Orange Theory, and I think that they do a good job in a couple of different ways. Like when I think about the Yard and what you guys stand for and then everything that you can do while you're there, I do agree with you. Like there's definitely some bits and pieces missing, and we'll get to that. But Ashton, I want to hear your story next on how you got introduced to the concept and what other concepts you maybe shopped before deciding on it.
So, absolutely, I've never wanted to own a gym in my life, ever. I've never really found the my style of training, I've always been a hybrid athlete. And
you guys have all done like Ironmans or triathlons, haven't you?
I'm not as tough or as handsome as DJ here, so I've yet to do anything that crazy.
Well, you're training for a High Rocks now, right?
Training for a High Rocks right now, yeah. So a lot of running right now. So a lot of compromised runs right now. But I had never really wanted to. I've always been entrepreneurial. This would be my third business, and I've never really wanted to gym. The gym and training was always kind of like the escape for me. But kind of like DJ, it was like when I discovered this, when I found this, and I discovered it the same way I think a lot of us are exposed to it, just online. And my first call with Tori, I'll never forget, because I asked her, what's, in Tori, in your estimation, what really makes the yard so unique and so different? And the demographics really spoke to me, the 50-50 male-female split. I predominantly, most gyms are, the majority of the demographic, male-female it's a majority of men. And sometimes it's not even close. Sometimes it's 90-10, male to female.
Or the opposite, the other way around. It could be 90
Sure.
female.
Right.
We're talking about like Fit Body Boot Camp. And,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Orange Theory.
A great spot in Lee Summit, Burn Boot Camp.
They kill it, yeah.
They absolutely, wonderful place. So that was really interesting to me, that they were getting women underneath the barbell. Something that I think even as men, we can recognize can be pretty intimidating at times. And so that really stuck out to me. And I'll never forget my first experience, like going out to a TYG. WeHo wasn't open yet. And so I went to San Antonio, to Jason and Chastity's spot. And I remember not wanting to go. My son was like 4 weeks old at the time. And I was thinking to myself, man, this is just going to be like a pretty face. I wasn't fortunate enough to be able to like go down and actually experience a session, didn't want to go. My wife is like, Ash, you've been so excited about this. This has really captivated you. You've got to go. I spent a week there and just fell in love got to have numerous private conversations with Dan and Corey and a lot of the support team. And what I really took away was like the brand standard. I'm certainly not somebody that wants to be micromanaged or appreciates that. I don't think any of us, appreciate that. But Dan said something super fascinating to me about, network support. And the comment he made was, if you post a picture online and there's a loose piece of paper out, the example he gave, on your reception desk, you're going to get a call and we're going to tell you to take it down. And I was like, there's something to be said for, valuing excellence, and the standard is the standard, and the more I got to know those guys and the more I got to get hands-on with payday and game day and rig and turf and meet real-time members and meet the coaches, I think I had a similar experience to every other franchisee that decides to pursue this, is that I got to bring this back to my neighborhood. I got to bring this back to my community. I mean, Fred, Jeff, if you guys opened up one in Kansas City, it'd be an honor to be a member there. Like, I feel like it truly is life-changing. And we Dan says it's a lifestyle brand. It's a lifestyle brand more than a gym, because when you come and you're a part of the programming and you're a part of the community, shoulder to shoulder with like-minded people, and there's that connection there, you leave wanting to be a better partner, a better entrepreneur, a better, sibling. And so when I talk with my staff and what we're building in Kansas City, it's like, we're taking care of each other, culture first, so we can pour into our members, and then it kind of multiplies from there in the community. So for me, it wasn't something that I didn't look at other franchise models. I knew I wanted to, being in a sales leadership position in healthcare over the last few years, I knew that it was time to start looking at what that next thing was going to be entrepreneurially. And then I spent 14 months exploring this and trying to make it happen. And so
You spent 14 months on as far as trying to get the yard gym going?
Yeah, whether it be funding or investment or sites, or, we looked all over the city, downtown to Brookside, and between the data and where I live currently in Grain Valley, it just felt like Lee Summit just fit. And kind of, I told you off air, Jeff, it was like I could see it when I went inside the space. It was the first space that I was like, being kind of challenged artistically, I could see like it clicked for me.
Sure.
And so
where'd you guys decide to go?
Yeah, so we will land at 1215 Northeast Rice Road, 2 doors down from the Genesis there, Minsky's Pizza, that area.
291.
Wild there
Highway.
wasn't an
291.
exclusivity there.
Do what?
Wild there wasn't an exclusivity on that site.
Yeah, so I think
Somebody
it was,
opened a supplement superstore and they opened up like a supplement source 3 doors down. I'd be livid.
Yeah, and
So-
I get asked that all the time. And DJ, I'd love to hear your thoughts. I get asked all the time, like,
2 different kind of members for sure, but
Yeah.
it's still fitness.
yeah, like,
Yeah.
are you sure you want to be like so close? And
I'd be like, the next door would be the best.
that was my feeling.
Yeah.
You
If
know?
you're a CVS, you want the Walgreens to be across the street.
We had a similar feeling with our Olathe location.
Yeah,
we
we had a
literally
vitamin shop.
shared a parking lot with the vitamin shop, and
We're like psyched.
it was good. It was good.
If you believe in your product,
That's right.
and other people are seeking the same thing that you're trying to do, and it's
Yeah.
going across the street, well then, could there be a better lead generator than
Right.
people actively trying to get in better shape, walking into a parking lot 2 doors down from you? I mean, like,
And it could have been just like my real estate agent the broker trying to like get this thing wrapped up because he'd been dealing with me for so long all over the city.
Yeah.
But he said that 291 corridor, like right that area, if we're visual, like he said like 17, 19 million cars per year right there. So it's not,
what kind of support did the Yard Gym give you guys as far as the site selection?
They have a mapping team, which
Yeah.
was super helpful on the front end.
For demographic specific?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So they
Yeah.
pulled all the demographics for us, which is obviously extremely beneficial. And then we just took that data and did our own thing.
I think
There was
that-
no like this for the signage. Is there any kind of requirements on like the facade or anything like that?
yeah. So
The actual signage outside the studio
Yeah,
itself.
because I would just say like there's certain like strip centers, for example, that a lot of franchises like wouldn't allow you to go in because
Sure.
it wasn't updated, right? So it's like you can't put our new beautiful branding on this old crappy,
yeah.
this place needs to be
Spaceship.
this rundown looking, building, if you will.
Deej definitely doesn't have a problem with that with his site. He's in a beautiful center. I think ours is a little older. Ours is a little sleepy. And I hear like, Ash, why'd you choose that? And it was like we received a ton of support from the property owner. They're gonna let us paint the building. They're gonna let us we want the Yard Gym here. We believe in the product, and so. There's definitely mandates for all of those things, but I would say it's more of an individualized. I'd say this whole process, every TYG is going to have elements that are on brand and look and feel, but every site, and that's what makes it boutique fitness, is every site owner operator dependent, location,
You use
right,
some
feels
individualization.
unique and different in its own way. And so that's what's so fun when we travel and get to see, like, I get to come see DJ's site, or go down and see Crockett and Nicole's site that just opened in Bentonville, and see these different sites and take inspiration. It's a lot of fun.
You guys have got a pretty big brand partnership with a little company called Nike.
Yeah.
When did that enter the chat? How'd that come about? Because that's a pretty
It's a straight
strong
up
backing.
global partner is like
Yeah.
the official phrase here.
Yeah.
So that's been in the works for a long time as far as corporate is concerned. With us, we didn't have to do a lot of the legwork with that. We just benefited based off being part of the brand, which is obviously incredible. Nike Training just dropped all their locations and decided to partner with us globally as their official training partner, which is obviously thanks to Dan Bova and the team over at corporate.
That's wild, dude. Because they
Yeah,
were
it's
just
awesome.
opening those Nike training facilities. They were going all in on fitness, with Nike
Yeah.
training specifically, like making equipment, opening up their own gyms.
Yeah.
I mean, like, and it was new,
Sure.
right? Like
Yeah.
it was something that Nike had only been doing for a couple of years. So for them to make that kind of a pivot was like a quick pivot.
Yeah.
You know?
I think it's really, I think DJ and I feel super fortunate and just humbled by the opportunity to be involved with the brand at the time that because this is still very much a new concept to the States. You know, we are very much still like kind of early adopters of the yard gym. I mean, the growth has just been absolutely incredible. I think if you look at McDonald's or Starbucks, like anybody that's in 5 years, 400 territories and 100 active sites, like let alone something of that's as intense or as thorough as building one of these sites is. I think the growth has been incredible, but we're still so early, and that's the same for our partnership with Nike. But what I love so much about it is how Nike is supporting our team. You know, it's really about, you know, outfitting our staff and being seen really at the right place in the right space, kind of at the right time. You know, I think there's a little bit of a High Rocks angle there potentially, but the partnership, and again, I think it's a testament to Dan and the leadership that we have. It's so savvy and so pro franchisee, I think.
Yeah, what is your thoughts on it, DJ, as far as the Nike partnership? Obviously, it's cool, but it's like, how does it benefiting your members as it's you have an active site right now?
Yeah, it's awesome. At the current moment, it's something that was just released to the public within the last month. So obviously we're still in early phases of partnership with Nike.
What's that even look like?
Apparel is going to be huge. It's going to be awesome. The yard really focuses on like streetwear and kind of fitting our brand aesthetic. You've seen our lobbies and just like the aesthetic of the gym itself. Tiarn, coming from that design background, apparel background, was focused more on lifestyle wear. Now we're going to have training kit as well for the public, which is awesome.
Very cool.
Obviously, Nike's knows what they're doing as far as that's concerned.
Yeah.
And then as a direct impact, aside from clothing for our community, not totally sure what it looks like yet, to be quite honest with you. We're still in the beginning phases. But
so like the new sites might have like some Nike training branded bumper plates and stuff like that? Or
yeah, I know that's been talked about, and I don't know that any of it is official.
They're still figuring that part out.
I feel like every space the brand's just evolving. You know, it's there's so much talk internally, and I think what we know now is just it's been incredible the amount of support that they've given, just like the actual franchisees and the actual team, whether it be the uniforms or, you know, some of those perks and benefits. I mean, I was actually like really, really impressed with like the catalog that we got to choose from. You know, the Team Yard Nike collab is unbelievable.
Agreed.
If you go through, you know, any professional locker room, right, or organization, it kind of goes back to like your demographic of how the training styles are broke up at the yard. You have turf and you have rig. If you were to be a professional athlete, I mean, you're going to train like that. You're going to have your heavy plyo days, your movement days. You're going to prioritize mobility. But make no mistake, I mean, just open your eyes to like, let it be youth athletics. Like, if you're playing some sport in any capacity right now, you need to be lifting weights, right? And so it caters to your audience that wants to come be a part of your gym, your culture. They want to be treated like they were some sort of professional athlete, right? Sure. And then when you have coaching and then you have programming that's already periodized out, and then you get people underneath the barbell with a kettlebell in their hand, they're getting comfortable with the movements. For a large demographic of people, it's the closest they're going to be to training as though they were in the NFL, they were in the MLB, they were in the NBA. And not only do they get a sense of like, maybe, you know, they just feel that way, they look up and they have a somebody coaching them as if they were a CSCS certified strength conditioning coach, or if they were, wearing, their favorite team's logo as if they were one of those athletes. And so that confidence, man, that gives your members a lot of momentum to stick with it, because they're really getting the environment that the best of the best will get every day when they come into work.
But with what you guys do, I want to know, like this, let's talk our listeners through game day and payday. What is that? And that's a great way to show like your progress as a member.
I think first and foremost, we should talk about rig and turf, right? And just the actual style of yard training.
We've mentioned rig and turf a couple times now, right?
So I just want to give some more clarity on that. So, and it's really what drew me into the brand, being somebody who would just heavily identified as an athlete my entire life up until I was in my early 20s, and then losing that through injury. I always longed for that team camaraderie, the training, and just being around like-minded people. And I was able to find that with First Form. Once I left First Form, I think I was searching for it even more, and I was able to find it with the yard. Now with my own community, it's incredible to see it develop only 12 weeks in, and it's really, really working. I mean, our community is performing like a team. Everybody has that team mindset. It's very cool to see. And I just want to break down the actual training itself. So the yard is split into two separate halves. One half is called rig, that focuses primarily on strength training. The other half is called turf. It's focused on conditioning. Think high rocks workouts, roughly. A lot of erg work, but we're still using weights on the turf side. Same thing goes for the rig. We're focusing primarily on barbell compound movements, and then you're going to have some conditioning work worked within it as well. So both are focused on one main thing, whether that's strength or conditioning, but both components have a little bit of the other one in them, if that makes sense.
Complement each other.
Absolutely. And the idea is that you, as the member, as the athlete, you're going to come into the gym. You're going to determine with us whether or not your goal is going to be primarily strength or conditioning. And that's how we're going to determine your week. Monday, you're going to start off on either rig or turf, and then you're going to flip-flop back and forth throughout the week. So you're getting, ideally 3 rig or 3 turf days and then 2 of the other day. And then Saturday, we're going to put it all together through what we call payday or game day, which is where we really do group up in teams. That could be teams from anywhere 2 to 6. We're going to get in those teams, and we're going to really get after it through competition-style workouts. So that could be a checklist where we are working through a checklist in a 50-minute time cap, essentially a race to the bottom, or several different formats of working out. There's a lot that we can do on paydays and game days. They're awesome. They're combining both rig and turf to just give you that full-on hybrid session, and they crush.
That's awesome.
So let's say I'm somebody, like from a business standpoint, to get a true feel for what the yard gym provides, I feel like a day pass just wouldn't do it justice. It's almost like you need a 7-day pass.
Yeah, you
and
almost
do the full, 6 workouts. I'll do my 5 weekdays and then show up on payday or game day on Saturday and get like a real feel for like, this is what the lifestyle really is.
you almost need to spend a full 8 weeks on the on the mesocycle, like on the periodization through the base, the gain, perform, and then our align phase, I think, to really get a full understanding. Like DJ said with the payday and the game, I think that's TYG at its height. Like the community, the energy, that is a special and unique session that's not really representative of the Monday through Friday work. That's a once a week testing day. Let's see where we're at. We know we're gonna push for.
Everybody loves max out day at the
50
gym,
minutes.
dude.
Yeah.
Everybody loves a max out day at the gym.
So I completely agree,
So
Jeff.
doing that on Saturday, I mean, like, dude, I would love to, like, that's the best part. Already what I'm hearing, it's like, that's where I'd want to be.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't feel right to go on a Saturday if you didn't do the work from Monday through Friday.
Yeah, and I think in a perfect world, you would have 6 days on, 1 day off. But obviously that doesn't work for everybody. People are busy. People have their own lives. They have their own priorities. The yard is really scalable to all fitness levels. So whether or not you're somebody who's never lifted a weight, or if you've been lifting weights for the last 20 years, the workout will work for you. We work with people as coaches, and all the workouts are accessible to any fitness level. So you can come in 2 days a week, you can come in 1 day a week, you can come in 6 days a week. Obviously, if you want to maximize your results, you're going to put in the work and you're going to come 6 days a week. That's not to say that our programming doesn't work if you come in 2 or 3 days a week. We have people who have been showing up on a weekly basis 3 times a week for the last 12 weeks and seeing measurable results. They're seeing gains throughout, because that's the way that our 8-week programming is structured. You're going to earn results because we have it formatted that way. So as long as you follow and do the work, it's going to happen. Now, obviously, 6 days is going to be better than 2 as far as results go, but not totally necessary.
I'm with you. Yeah, I'm with you.
Well, I mean, you boys have seen, some of the stuff I posted on Instagram. I mean, I'm having people come over to my house and run payday and game day sessions on Saturday mornings. And I've literally had people go, my fitness has improved so much just showing up once a week for the payday session, right? And so I think you'll see a lot of people that are just starting their journey with us that are doing rig and turf throughout the week, and maybe they're a little hesitant to try a payday or a game day session, right? Because it is challenging, and that's kind of right. There's only, for most spots, 2 offerings for those slots, and so I think like DJ said, the programming just does a beautiful job of like, you use it for how you see, how it fits into your life. And so the 2 sessions going on simultaneously, coached by 2 different coaches, all off of one timer, that amongst numerous other things is really the main differentiator between, maybe the Yard and like an F45 or an Orange Theory, all still phenomenal programs and products and offerings. And then obviously, right, all of our members are progressing through a mesocycle. Like, I'm fairly certain we're the only group fitness concept that's implemented the barbell at scale and implemented progressive overload to where our members are actually, peaking and, maxing out 1 to 3 reps on those compound movements.
I didn't know that.
I got a little bit of a pivot question here, and just because I'm directly in this season of life, childcare.
Yeah.
Do you guys plan to offer childcare? DJ, I don't know. I don't want to speak for you.
I was going to say, my question I was going to ask is good to this, because it was like, well, the demographic, it feels like it could cater to a younger crowd when you mention like streetwear, young professional. You know what I mean? Like somebody who hasn't started a family yet. What kind of demographics have you seen personally in your gym, DJ?
It's actually an interesting question because we can't really boil it down to any specific demographic. While there are, I think, more young people compared to other group fitness places. It goes from anywhere from, we have members who are 19 years old and we have members who are over 60 years old. So really full scale. As far as the childcare goes, yes, I will be offering it at location 2. Currently at location 1, we do not have childcare.
It's a huge thing. So it's no easy, it's no slouch that you don't have it. But in the season of life that I'm in, right, my wife loves to work out and train as well. We have two little boys, right? Mm-hmm. And it's like, whether we're catching different class times in between both working full time, that is like a huge thing, right? Yeah. And if you offer something like that, I've just seen it through some of the promotional things that, like, man, if that's available, what an advantage for people that are competitive, young, but they have a family and they have a life. And it's like, what a great opportunity too for people to bring their kids and be like, yeah, mom and dad are over there busting it and we're going to the gym. That's just kind of in the habits of what we do, right?
I think it's certainly it's an owner operator, decision. And I think the market,
location dependent,
the location drives that. So kind of what, like we talked about earlier about, I've looked all over the city, downtown, right, off of Baltimore.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have done Creche, our childcare. Lee Summit.
It's called what? I'm sorry? The childcare? Creche.
Please no follow-ups, Jeff. I have no idea. Do you know?
Australian terminology.
There you go.
With daycare.
Yeah. No, dude, Creche is way better, bro.
Yeah.
And so, but Lee Summit, right? It's a huge part of what we're going to do in Lee Summit and really build that Creche out to be just as luxurious, just as, full of amenities as our wellness suite or, the private bathrooms and showers and in front of house.
Yeah, that part's sick. Let's talk about the wellness suite, dude. What do you got over there, DJ? What can I do besides these awesome workouts while I'm there?
Yeah, absolutely. So with the Yard and with the build out, we had a lot of autonomy, which was awesome. The brand gives you recommendations, but ultimately you're the owner and you get the final say on a lot. I shouldn't say everything. It is a franchise, so there are certain standards that you do have to follow. With what I was doing and what I thought St. Louis needed was an all-encompassing fitness community. So I wanted to offer everything, and I wanted to do it at the top of the line. So as far as what you can get outside of the training, at the Yard, outside of Rig and Turf, at my current location right now, we do have a recovery studio that offers sauna, cold plunge, private showers. We have a Normatec recovery sleeves, and then we also offer run clubs twice a week.
Oh, how cool, man.
Yeah,
very cool.
That's just an extension of even more community then, huh?
Absolutely, and the run clubs have been incredible. It doesn't matter if we have 8 people on a Friday morning or 30 people on a Wednesday evening. Every one of them is worthwhile. The community gets together. We all have a blast. Some people run, some people walk, some people bring their dogs, some people bring their kids. There's actually a guy who has 2 young kids under the age of 5. He throws them in a stroller and he runs and he generally wins on our
That's
run
amazing.
clubs. He's
That's
a total
awesome.
stud, gets after it.
Love that, dude.
And has to be in zone 4 the entire time.
Are you talking about Freddie? Are you talking about Freddie?
Yeah, it could be
Yeah,
Fred,
right.
Are you describing
Something he
Freddie
would
here?
do.
I did run a 5K this morning, but
That's right.
Yeah,
With a
go.
45-pound plate on his head.
Are you guys doing are you doing anything Sundays? Any high rocks or anything?
We are actually implementing that here within the next month, which is going to be awesome.
Awesome.
So Sunday was our one day off. We're going to start adding a hybrid day on Sundays, just one class.
Sweet.
Right now to start out, but it'll be high rocks focused workouts, which is going to be great.
You heard it here first.
Yeah. Are you guys, and then are you guys actually going to be like using a High Rocks affiliation along with is Yard Gym in talks of doing that at all?
There is no high rocks affiliation currently now.
Okay. I was going to say, like, I don't think we need that, but it's just one of those things where so many are jumping in at once.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like,
why wouldn't you almost, right?
yeah, well, I would say personally, I would be like very hesitant. It's just because you don't get to decide who else jumps in.
Yeah, I
And so you spend all this time differentiating your gym from other gyms. And then if you say, now we're a High Rocks gym on top of it, we've got some friends in Kansas City, for example, that, have jumped in and done it. And we have ones that haven't. And I'm like, well, hey, if everybody can do it, do we want to do it?
Yeah.
Right.
So
They're not limiting how many you get to do it in a certain market.
I feel like if you look at the athletes that are TYG athletes currently competing at that high level,
Is there some High Rocks athletes with some TYGs painted on their chest?
absolutely.
Yeah,
I didn't know
that's
that.
kind of
That's cool.
I mean, Joanna, is obviously the top dog. I mean, she's incredible.
She like Beyonce, just Joanna.
I mean,
I'm
four
not
major.
totally sure who Joanna is. I should probably
Who's
know
she?
this.
Yeah, so she kind of, I don't know how to describe her, but she's kind of the LeBron. I feel like everybody uses this kind of the LeBron James of High Rocks. Yeah, and won, I don't know how many major like events they have a year in High
They just
Rocks
had
right
Worlds
now.
this
Yeah,
last
just had
weekend.
They just had Worlds,
Yeah.
and the girl from Michigan, Alyssa, absolutely, that was like unbelievable. I think she ran at like a 5:30 clip, per mile, like a 3:30, 3:20, kilometer pace. Unbelievable. Mm-hmm. She won the thing. I think she made her debut like 4 months ago or something crazy.
Oh, okay, one of those.
Yeah, unbelievable. But
Yeah, does her first one and then goes pro.
Joanna was like the heavy favorite. She's won like every big event this year.
Okay.
And
But she's a Yard Gym athlete.
Yeah, I think she did a High Rocks in like 53 minutes or something crazy.
That's
like
it's like a
Keeps looking at me. I have no idea.
Bananas.
I'm watering my own garden right now, but
Yeah.
I do know that there's some very high level High Rocks athletes
Absolutely.
that are a part of the Yard organization.
Makes
as well.
sense.
yeah. So
talk about your the amenities that you want to have. You mentioned the daycare creche, if you will.
yeah.
What else do you guys want to have there? Because what you were talking about, DJ, like sounds incredible, dude. Like I put myself back to I moved to Kansas City when I was much younger. Now I'm 38 years old, but I was only 28 when we opened up our first supplement superstores, and I knew nobody. Mm-hmm. And CrossFit at the time felt intimidating because I had done it twice prior, and I genuinely felt like I was hitting that growth kind of ceiling. Like I was hitting where I couldn't do certain movements, and the coaching that I had at the time, not to anybody else like detriment, but the bottom line is the coaching. They weren't exactly excited to teach me to do the things that I needed to do, and so I was just had a bad taste in my mouth with it.
Yeah.
But man, I would have loved to join a Yard Gym at that time, and all the things that you're talking about, DJ, like what you're offering currently, is just like what a great place to meet people that are like-minded. What a great place to find, friendship. It just would have been a cool thing to do. But having all those amenities on top of it too, you just want to hang out there.
I feel like, and you can speak to this. I mean, we've both been involved with the brand for quite a while now. I feel like we take what the Yard does is they take kind of the best from High Rocks, the best from bodybuilding, the best from CrossFit, and they bring it all under one roof. Like it's very scientific, the approach with the mesocycle and the periodization, the progressive overload. We're totally non-discriminatory to any style of training. Like on Rig's side, we promote hypertrophic movements. We promote slow, controlled, not only strength and power, but musculature, tissue growth and size. The same way that a bodybuilder would train. It's very much. I mean,
There's some aesthetics involved for sure.
yeah. I mean, our big thing is trying to deliver the world's most balanced strength and conditioning experience. So
when it came to you guys getting this, like something I read about the yard gym that I thought that was really like just a very cool thing was that they're not giving these sites out to just anybody.
Yeah.
They're having you come out and do a live workout with them.
that's actually how DJ and I met. Was at a VIP. I think it was the first VIP at WeHo. I think.
I believe you're right. Yeah.
You guys are dropping a lot of industry terms for our listeners that don't know what a VIP event is or WeHo is. So you can help me out.
VIP event is essentially the interview process for the yard corporate with people who want to become franchisees. And it's an interview process for us to see if we want to be a part of this network. So we had the opportunity to go spend a week at the corporate location in West Hollywood. It was incredible. And that whole week is just filled with tons of learning, tons of workouts, and obviously networking. It's how Ashton and I were introduced to each other. There's people from all over the country, and everybody's just kind of in this back and forth interview process. It really is an incredible week. You have people from Australia who come in. The founder, Dan Bova, was there the time that Ash and I were. So we get to pick his brain, see the vision of the entire brand, and really just talk to everybody at the yard and who's been a part of it. So
you guys have been a part of other, like, I mean, DJ, you've worked at First Form for years.
Yeah.
Ashton, you've got your own experiences prior. And so I just want to know, like, how was like the professionalism at this event? Like, was most people wowed by it? Did you guys feel like you saw through any of it? Was it feeling genuine? Did it feel like a sales pitch? Did it feel authentic? I'd just love to know.
Man, it's very much like, I think they kind of sit back and go, it's almost kind of like a date almost. Like you're trying to see, am I interested in this person? Do my values align with this, with this, the vision and mission set? And they're kind of sitting back. Can you hang? Like, do you represent our product well? Mm-hmm. There's private conversations. There's social events. I think it's like a really, really beautiful interview process because there's both like the structured, formal, let's sit down and discuss like really what this looks like. But then there's also like at Lavo, was it Lavo?
I believe so.
Yeah. So there's like, outings and where, you're having a drink together, right? Mm-hmm. Who are you when you have a drink, right?
Is this another one of those crash terms? Lavo?
I think it's a restaurant.
Yeah.
In West Hollywood.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah. And so in terms of the professionalism, they roll out the red carpet. I mean, absolutely. I felt like it was absolutely first class, top shelf, world class experience.
Mm-hmm. Cool, man. When it comes to like the community aspect, okay, we talked about like my way of saying it would be like shared suffering. If you guys do something hard together, you're going to have some natural intimacy in a relationship because you guys have gone through something difficult together. DJ, in your experience with this, how has that compared to your athletic background? Does it correlate exact? Is there anything unique, different to it? But are you feeling that same kind of bond with your community that you guys have built over the last 12 weeks?
Yeah, I would say absolutely. And that was my main focus as far as starting a gym and getting involved with the yard. I saw what they had to offer and I saw the opportunity of what I could bring to St. Louis and what I could build here in St. Louis. And my focus, first and foremost, since the beginning has been community. I know through working with incredible brands in the past and being a part of amazing teams that if you focus on the community, you genuinely try to help people become their best selves and you deliver them an awesome product, the community is going to form. As far as our community right now, 12 weeks in, I had a vision in mind of what it would look like. And I'm still just like shocked right now at the moment, honestly. Every day I get to walk in and do something that I love with people that I love. After every single workout, people are sticking around 20, 30 minutes, hanging out, socializing, talking with each other. After run clubs, people are going to happy hours on Wednesday run clubs. After Saturday workouts, we have 20 people who go to a brunch afterwards every Saturday. It really is just incredible, this community that's being formed. There's group chats left and right of different class times because, people are going to train at the 9 a.m. class every day. People are going to train at the 6 a.m. class every day. These little cliques and groups are starting to form, and then Saturday we all get to come together as one and really get after it together. And it's just...
Do those 6 a.m. and 9 a.m. crews mix it up on the payday and game days?
Man, I mean, throughout the 6 class times, I don't know if I can pick and choose favorites, but there are some classes with some serious athletes in them. So It really just depends. Each class has their own little unique, I would say, culture, and your regulars and just the community and culture that we're building right now. I'm absolutely thrilled with. Couldn't be more grateful.
How many coaches do you have right now?
Right now we have 7 coaches.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
What's the vetting process go like for your guys as coaches?
For me, this is my first time running a business, and while I do have incredible role models in my life to look up to, nobody's done what I'm doing as far as the fitness industry and hiring coaches. And I just stick to my gut. I talk to these coaches when they reach out to me, or I reach out to them. I have them in for a workout. I like to try to work out with them, and then just have communication thereafter, whether it's in person, preferably through text, and we just kind of chat, and I try to make a friend with the coach and see if it would be a good fit. I know what kind of culture I am trying to build, and I know who is going to make a positive impact on that. Thankfully, so far, all of our coaches have been absolutely incredible from a skill standpoint on the floor to just being amazing people. Everybody's really bought in with the culture. Helping people first and foremost and worrying about the rest later. It's awesome to see people showing up every day to work, but to actually serve. And that's what I'm seeing with my team right now, which is really, really incredible and means a lot to me.
I love the term serve. We talk a lot about, like, with our network and what we're trying to do in Kansas City and who we're looking for is servant leaders. People that value people. I think I've tried to boil down, like, what is the most important thing to make this thing go and to make this thing work for retention. Every single one of these guys means so much to us. And I think that's what's so cool about what we get to do is we get to form, like, we're not after 2,000 people, 5,000 people to make this work. So the customer service, the relations, and I think what I look for, like, simply high level is like, would I want to have a beer with this person? And then would I want to compete against this person? Like, is this somebody who's really, are they mature? Are they, do we share the same, values and mission set, understanding their why? And then kind of like DJ said, like, would I want to hang out with them? And so I've certainly, the staff we've brought on from all over the city, it's been a really slow process. We've all had a payday or a game day session together, because what we are bringing to market, it is unique. Nobody's really seen it before, and maybe it doesn't resonate with that coach. And sure. I think something was mentioned earlier about, we've talked about community multiple times, and I certainly think the environment lends to the experience. But man, just having the payday and game day sessions out at my house, sometimes getting so many people over there where we have to do, like, back-to-back hours. The programming, like, promotes community, not only in, like, the modalities and the style of training, but the difficulty of those Saturday sessions and whatnot. And the cool part about it is, it's like Deej said, you kind of just take what you bite off of it. It pushes all of us to a 10. But you can be a beginner grouped up with somebody who's of high fitness
Scalable
level, like
movements,
DJ.
if you will.
Right.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
So that's what's been so special to see. I'll get text messages on Wednesday, like, hey, Ash, what time on Saturday morning? So, and we're not even in a studio yet. We're in my garage with the humidity of, 70% or whatever. And so, it's humbling and exciting and just there's nothing that quite fills my cup like having these sessions and being around this. And, and now we're all, just like DJ said, we're all, having a barbecue together or hanging out afterwards or finding reasons to spend time with one another. And
it's happening organic, which I think is what makes it the most important.
We talked about it earlier about like the whole rise of tech and AI and the digital age. And I think you're seeing a lot of people really not push back on that necessarily, but going, I know a lot of people have forecast like analogs coming back, the human connection thing. And so I think the atmosphere, the programming, all those little things that we put together, I think really promote that community.
Yeah.
We have souls,
like
right?
Yeah.
Like, we want to connect.
Yes.
We want to connect, and in the space that we're in, it's like, a lot of things go in a cycle, but I tell our staff and our leaders all the time, like, hey, that it's never not going to be cool. right? When you are connecting one-on-one with somebody and you genuinely are like, man, that's another human that I can, get after it with. As you guys have gone through this process, DJ, it's your first business, right? And Ashton, you said it's your third. Specifically through this, to really no fault of TYG, what has been something that has been like, maybe not a blind side, but the first, that was a challenge I didn't expect, and kind of how did you handle that?
Man, it's tough to boil it down to one. I mean, I don't think any part of this process has been easy. From me leaving my previous job in last July, so coming up on a year now, up until this point, every step along the process has been a difficult step. We had to work, as a lot of people say, harder than you think and longer than you think. So that's the thing I have to continuously remind myself of every single day is I've never done this before and I'm going to figure it out. So that's just kind of part of it. It's been an incredible experience. I've learned more within the last year than I have the 24 years of my life leading up to this. So it's just been an incredibly impactful year.
And he's absolutely crushing it. I mean, this was my first time seeing his site and experiencing a session over there, and the energy, the feel, what you guys have done with the space. I mean, absolutely a world-class experience, an incredible representation, I think, of what the yard is. But like DJ said, man, anybody that thinks like the franchise model, it's just like, plug and play, we have all the answers for you. Like, it is everything from, the early stages of the agreements and the negotiations and the investment, and then working with the city and working with managing the projects. And then I think the brand standard is so darn high that there might be some hoops that we actually have to jump through that, maybe another model wouldn't make you jump through. Mm-hmm. And just the sheer thoroughness of the build out, like the actual finishes and all of that too.
City code and all those things.
Yeah. So there's a ton of things that I don't think you fully, from the design of the space and working with the design team. It's just like, I think there's one, there's one milestone after the other, and you just keep trying to keep, the main thing, right? Taking care of those day-to-day things, but while also still making time to connect with the community and the big things that are going to really move the ball down the field. But yeah, that's what makes it so special, right? Like, if anybody could just, throw one of these up, it wouldn't generate the interest and feel the way that I think many people in Lee Summit and Kansas City will feel when they come inside one of these studios.
I want to transition a little bit to just your guys' natural competition, the other, boutique fitness gyms. And, it's like, We've interviewed people that represent all of these brands, and I think they're all wonderful people. We've met some really incredible people along the way. But the models themselves, they've been hurting. F45 has gone back to being private. They were a publicly traded company. They're closing more gyms than they're opening. They're getting into, other models now, right? They're opening up, their sister franchises are opening more locations than F45's. Orange Theories, there's a lot of announcements of them closing a lot of different studios. And it's not that they don't work, because they work wonderfully. If you show up to those gyms, you're going to get in good shape. But what do you think? I have my own answer to this, but I'd love to know your guys' thoughts on just, especially you, DJ, with having vetted those models. What is it that the Yard Gym you think really sets it apart, and what's going to keep it separate for a while?
Yeah, it's a tough question to answer. I think that some of these brands get so big that they start to lose that personal touch. And being fortunate enough to be a part of a brand this young and get kind of in on the ground floor, even though it's 5 years in. This is new in the United States. We're some of the first few, there's under 20 operators in the United States right now. So we really do have the ability to make of this gym of what we want. So I would say the difference between what we are doing right now as a brand and what these bigger brands have done is we are keeping everything. It feels, like he was mentioning earlier, it feels individual per location. So my location is going to feel different than Ashton's location. Ashton's location is going to feel different than the LA location. We all get to determine our own culture and being there on the day-to-day. For me personally, it's just being able to go in there, lead by example, serve others, and really just provide an exceptional experience. I think that as you continue to scale and get bigger, it's easier to lose sight of these things. I just go in with that servant mindset every single day of, I'm going to continue to help people. No matter how big this gets, I'm going to continue to help people. And I think as long as I continue to have that mindset day in and day out, this thing's going to fly straight.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the root of it. And I think expanding on DJ's comments there, it's, you see Orange Theory get wrapped up in this $100 billion, private equity, portfolio. Mm-hmm. And, the operators are cashed out and everybody's super happy, and then they have a major decline. And it's like, it's not that boutique fitness, there's anything wrong with it. In fact, I think it's the fastest growing subset of like fitness right now. I think TYG is probably the fastest growing, boutique fitness brand globally. They forgot what made it special, and that's that owner operator, the heart, the soul of the space that's showing up every day, that's committed to, positive outcomes for their members. And so that's what I think we look for, is empowering coaches to where they feel like it's their gym. Like we talked about it earlier. It's like, I think every gym looks and feels unique to the community because it belongs to the community. It's their gym, it's their space. So GJ might have a younger demographic. If we were to go down in Brookside, that's a different demographic downtown to Lee Summit. And so I think practically, though, the big key differentiators and what really, really separates us is obviously that dual zone setup, the meso cycle and the programming, the periodization. I mean, our members are on actual programming. The coach to member ratio, like you're going to get one-on-one, level personal training while inside the studios, the wellness space.
When you guys talk about this, and I apologize if you had more to touch on there, Ashton, but I'm not, I say all this with just genuine love for you guys and wanting to see you be successful. But what a lot of these operators you're talking about with Orange Theory or F45, they just had a lot of multi-site operators. And so you guys are talking about this owner-operator model. How many multi-site operators are there right now at the Art Gym? And I only mention that because, DJ, you already talked about a second location, which is awesome, right? But if there's only one DJ, so one of the most difficult things for us was finding a Freddie Ford, and Freddie is the best representation that we have of supplement superstores in our Kansas City market. And if we didn't have Freddie, we couldn't have gone to 2 or 3 or 4.
Absolutely. What I mean? I think that's the importance of staying involved in the day-to-day and building the culture within your staff, whether that's team workouts, hanging out outside of work, leading by example, doing the things that make us us. I never want to lose sight of that because we're developing coaches throughout this entire process. As he mentioned, this isn't just my gym. This is the community's gym. This is the coach's gym. I want to give them that autonomy. I want to give them the authority to build the culture because I have vetted these people. I trust these people. I know these people are good. And that's not to say that every one of them is going to be running a location someday because obviously that's not the case. Mm-hmm. But
there certainly can help.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we know that certain actions are going to determine certain results. So people know where I want to go with these gyms, what I'm trying to build. And if they're going to come in at the ground level right now and help me do it, they're obviously going to have more opportunity in the future. So I think it's super important to stay involved in the day-to-day, continue to develop coaches, continue to develop leaders, and we'll go from there.
Just like you boys, I think we're constantly trying to find better people than us, right? Like people with different skill sets, building our cabinet of advisors, so to speak. So I'm very sales and marketing driven. I need somebody who's really process oriented, right? And then culture's something that's, I feel like, reestablished daily in how you show up for your team, and it's more than just I think we talked about this. It's more than just like, a mission set you throw up on the wall. It's who you are. It's who you want to become. And so I think it starts with us and our standard. And, and again, that takes a while to find those people, but once you find them, it's your job to make sure they don't get out of the building.
At the end of the day, to me, right, they could love rig and they could love, turf, and they could love the yard gym and they could love back squat and periodization and the location and the feel and everything. But if they don't really believe in you, they're on a timer.
Yeah.
Right. And they really have to just believe in you guys and what you're doing. But if you guys just carry on the example you hope to set, you're going to have some people that ride with you for a long time.
I feel like at least in Kansas City, I try to, get the right people on the bus, and then we'll figure out what the right seat is for them, And so we have a lot of people that, you'll have somebody that, hey, I want to be here 40 hours a week. And then it's like, hey, I can coach 4 a week. It's like, or hey, I'm really good in front of house. And so it's like, I think it's kind of my responsibility to, allow them to I'm trying to support and promote them and have them benefit from the platform that is the yard, more than anything else.
We have a couple minutes left, so I wanted to touch on one more thing on this. Like, from what I see from the outside looking in, it looks to me like you guys have a phenomenal culture that was similar to the rise of CrossFit in 2008 to 2012 or so. There was this, like, everybody and their mom was opening a CrossFit gym. I mean, Springfield, Missouri, where I was living at the time, had 11 CrossFit gyms in one smaller city, if you will. I mean, we had 2 supplement superstores, but 11 CrossFit gyms. Crazy. And so, but CrossFit wouldn't allow you to open a second location. And it was, part of it was because of that culture aspect where, the head coach was usually, the owner, and eventually they would grow and have a couple coaches underneath them and so forth. But it's what makes, CrossFit gyms to this day have phenomenal culture, and the ones that have been around a long time if they're still around. You know what I mean? And when I see what you guys are building, it's just, it's everything that, like, if I was a CrossFit gym owner, if I wanted to be able to open up multiple, like, I would want to be able to do all of the things that the yard gym brings. And I'm not directly comparing the fitness styles, but simply just the community aspect of doing really difficult things together. But you guys having the freedom as franchisees to make it individualized, but also have these elevated aspects that go with it. It's a really, really cool concept. I mean, I genuinely am a fan of what you guys are building with the yard. I think you guys are in an awesome spot as far as getting on the ground floor. I'm excited to see what you guys do with it. Do you guys want to call any shots as far as what you want to do long term with it, as far as building out sites and maybe in different markets, or are you staying here? What's the goals?
Yeah, I'm solely laser focused on Lee's Summit. We'll see what comes. We'll see what comes next, but certainly there is a greater vision there. But I think, like DJ, pouring everything I have into Site 1 and proving the concept and giving everything we got towards it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Obviously, you have certain goals in your mind and places you want to go, but right now my mindset is showing up every day, ready to give everything I have to the community, deliver the best result possible, and build an incredible community within St. Louis, and we'll see where it goes from there. But right now my focus is to pair.
Love it, man.
Yeah.
We have a tradition at Protein Bros Podcast. We ask everybody. It's been such a Kansas City-based podcast, but I think we're going to be doing more and more shows with people that are not just from Kansas City. And so we're going to change this final question. We typically ask just what's the best barbecue in Kansas City, because people love their barbecue. But I would say, just when you guys are not thinking about fitness and you're having a real treat meal, if you will, what is the go-to restaurant where you're like sending it food-wise?
Generally go towards the Busch Lights. 20 or 30 of those will do me good.
Yeah.
Say a 30-pack of that?
Yeah.
A rack? Okay.
No, I'm a foodie. I love food in St. Louis. I think St. Louis has way better food than Kansas City. So,
how many Kansas City trips have you had, DJ?
What's that?
How many Kansas City trips have you had, DJ? I'm from St. Louis.
Better let me know next time.
Barbecue might be a little bit better.
Sure.
But
St. Louis barbecue, phenomenal too.
Italian,
is good.
I think Italian food in St. Louis is incredible. I haven't had much Kansas City Italian. As far as St. Louis goes, I love Pepe's Apartment 2 that is in Kirkwood.
Bro,
Incredible.
just heard about Apartment.
You got to go.
I just heard about that.
Wait a
in
minute.
the last
So
week,
Apartment
dude.
2 is the restaurant, or Pepe's is the restaurant?
It's
at
called
Apartment.
Pepe's Apartment 2.
It feels like one of those restaurants where
name.
you got to be on a list and you have to have that
Yeah, what a
reservation a
name.
long
No,
time.
I think you're all right just walking in. Probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
I had the spot down the street from the gym. What was it? You stopped in.
Cafe Amalia, I go there about every day, but that's
That was good.
not necessarily a dinner place. If
That-
you want a good breakfast or a good lunch, go there. Mediterranean, it's incredible.
Yeah.
Bro, the best meal I've had in St. Louis recently was Louis on Demand. Or is that called Louis on Demand?
Yeah, Louis great.
Gosh dang, it was great.
Wright's Tavern.
I walked in, I saw one of your family members in there.
Did you?
Yeah, Jimmy was in there. That's funny.
Is the Hill still classic Italian in St. Louis?
Not for dinner. Lunch is incredible on the Hill.
Okay.
I'm not going to speak poorly on it.
No.
My parish, St. Ambrose, is there. I'm there every Sunday, so gotta hype it up. But I would not go there for dinner for the most part.
Okay.
Pulling no punches.
Dude, he's an authority on food. Like,
Yeah, what I told you, I'm a fish
Let it be
guy.
said.
That's why I got to work out.
Swinging,
Yeah.
man.
Ashton, what do you got?
I'm a pizza guy. New York style.
My guy.
Pizza Tassio.
Pizza Tassio, man.
Got one in
Shout
Belton,
out.
baby.
Shout out Pizza Tassio. They got reviewed by Dave Portnoy
Great
when he came to
review from
Kansas
One
City.
Bite.
But just to be clear, when I moved to Kansas City, there was not good pizza in Kansas City, and Pizza Tassio saved us.
Oh,
It's
my
awesome.
gosh. It's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Red Tassia?
Is that
Is that the pizza you get?
I love it sounds I love the Detroit style.
Yeah.
Yeah, the dip, the whole experience.
You just want a
Dude,
loaf
crispy
of bread
four
with
corners,
sauce and
all that.
toppings on it.
Oh, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm definitely grabbing the like a pepperoni or a
Yeah.
Italian
They,
sausage,
do,
but
they got that hot, they got the spicy Italian pizza with the hot honey.
that marinara is so good you can drink it. I mean,
Yeah,
oh
dude.
my gosh.
It's good stuff.
Yeah.
Guys, we really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for taking the time to be on the podcast with us. Our first dual market podcast. So appreciate your guys' time. And like
All
I
the
said,
best,
we're just
boys.
wishing you guys all the
Awesome. Thank
success,
you.
man.
Thank
Excited
you
to
so
come get a
much.
workout with you.
100% next week.
Yeah, say we'll talk to the management team here. We'll bring everybody out.
Awesome. Let's do it.
Make it count.
Excited.
Sounds
Cool.
good.
Thank
All
you,
right,
guys.
guys. Talk soon.
Awesome.
Appreciate it.